Hello, everyone. It's Mr. Nobody here. So, just recently, I watched the Weird Al Yankovic movie Weird, the fake biopic, I guess you could call it. It's a biopic, but the only part of it that really has any truth to it is there's some truth to the very beginning of it. It's a much more fantastic idea of it, vaguely inspired by true events. I watched it. It was a fine movie. I'd say the first third was the most fun. The bit that was closest to reality, when it went off more into pure fiction, found it a little less interesting, but it was fun. It was funny. It had some really good casting in it, I thought. And I feel like if it had been edited down so the second half just went a little quicker, that would have made a little stronger movie. So that's just my personal opinion to it. But in respect to Weird Al and in respect to having just watched that, I wanted to just do a quick list that I noted down to myself, and it's times Weird Al's parody was better than the original song. And these are not in any particular order, but these are songs where, I frankly, I'd rather listen to the parody than the original. So number one on my list is Bedrock Anthem. That's the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Give It Away Now. Now that is actually a pretty fun song, but I'll be honest, Weird Al's version is like that, but just even more fun, in my opinion, even sillier, remarkable video too that really captures the style of the Red Hot Chili Peppers one. I just think that one is one where it's like, I would rather just go back and listen to Weird Al's version of it than the Red Hot Chili Peppers version of it. Now, my number two, this is a big one. Lady Gaga's Born This Way and Weird Al's Perform This Way. Like, I feel like this is an example of brilliant satire, partly because I do feel like it's a little incisive in that there is such a performative aspect to the original song, and Weird Al is actually parodying that the some of the core idea of the song by saying, "Yes, he's not just making a silly song; he's lampooning the whole idea of the song itself by saying." To some degree, this is just like a corporate stunt to get attention. And now she doesn't necessarily do that sort of thing anymore, but she did earlier on. Why? Because it's great marketing. It gets you noticed. You want to stand out. And so I think Perform This Way was just a fantastic parody of that specific song and also of the general approach with a lot of artists to sort of sculpt them into a particular persona that is marketable. Katy Perry also comes to mind. Kesha was another example of it. And it can seem, when you look at it, it seems very put on. Anyway, number three, Confessions Part 3. I don't know if you've heard the song Confessions Part 2. It's great. Weird Al just takes the concept of the song and parodies it perfectly. I think his version's wonderful. I find it way more interesting to listen to than the original song because it's funnier for being untrue and for being exaggerated and for lampooning the entire idea of it. Confessions Part 3. Not a song I would have thought would be one of my favorites, ended up being one of my favorites because I just think it's brilliant satire. Next one, Yoda, parody of Lola. I'll be honest, Lola's just a little bit annoying, and Yoda is a lot of fun. Like it took the song and actually just made it more fun, turning it into a parody. Another example of this would be Gump, which is a parody of Lump, which again is a slightly annoying song, and changing it to Gump just made it a little more fun. White and Nerdy, again, I feel like this is a parody that expanded the song. Like it took the song, Riding Dirty, not really like the most interesting song in the world, not really the most creative lyrics. Like it's a catchy song for sure. But the material isn't like, brilliant. But White and Nerdy both reverses the whole rap genre into and how cool rappers are often trying to seem into something exactly the opposite, and just has so much fun playing it. And his rapping is actually fantastic in it. It's great. It's really good. It actually adds a whole nother layer of it. It complexifies the original song. My Bologna, that's another one. That's one where it's a simpler song because it's one of his just food parody songs, but I would say it's as much fun as the original. This one is maybe a tie. I wouldn't say it's better than My Sharona. My Sharona is a fine song, but My Bologna is at least as much fun as My Sharona. The White Stuff kind of falls into that area too. The Right Stuff is a somewhat silly, okay song. It's catchy. It's got a good hook to it. Making it about Oreos is at least as good as the original song. Spam, parody of Stand. Stand's a good song. And I think Spam just captures that same goodness of the quality of the song itself, which doesn't really have anything that interesting to say and just makes it silly and fun. And by investing all this energy into something as simple as Spam, just makes it more playful than the original song. Word Crimes, that's another one. I would actually say that's significantly better than the original song. The original song, in my opinion, is both a little hard to listen to because it's so annoyingly smug and full of itself and douchey. And the video is 100 times that problem. And Word Crimes makes it fun, even makes it educational, satirical. Like it made that for me, like, oh, now this is a song I can enjoy. Like that's the one where the parody is what made me able to actually enjoy the song. Like a Surgeon, like a Virgin by Madonna, I understand, huge hit. Probably some people would say not a tie. I feel like a Surgeon has had some real longevity to it. It has hung on, it has maintained its significance, and it has proved itself. I would not necessarily say it's better, but it's at least as good. The performance of it is also really great. One that's not quite so clear, Cable TV. Now, Cable TV is not a actual parody of a specific song, more of a style parody of Elton John song. But it's really good. It's just a really good parody. And sometimes when you do a style parody of someone, you can make a song that is almost more what it is than the original song itself. 83 channels of ecstasy, love my cable TV. It's a great song. It's fantastic. Canadian Idiot, in my opinion, is a whole lot more fun than American Idiot. A whole lot more interesting, amusing, over the top. You know. Do I Creep You Out? Now, I cannot remember the name of the original song. Whether you prefer the parody of the original might depend on your taste. I'm not that into the original song. I actually think Do I Creep You Out is a superior song in every manner. Sounds fantastic, great content. I love the fake romance angle on it. Another one that's a style parody, Everything You Know Is Wrong. That's a style parody, but holy cow, is that a fantastic song? It's crazy, absurdist. It's just a killer. The Generic Blues. That's the woke up this morning, then I went right back to bed. The great thing about that one is it's not that it's so much better than other blues songs, is it really just deserves a special mention for just taking everything about an entire genre and just playing with it, teasing it, while still actually doing a good job with it. Because I've heard blues musicians talk about it and say, yeah, this is actually a classic blues song. He's being very silly with it. He's playing up the conventions of the genre, but you know what? It's a classic blues song of a certain style. And so I think he really deserves credit for that, for having created his own perfect Weird Al contribution to the blues genre. Headline news, that's the I'm of the opinion it's not that hard to make a superior version of that. I've thought that song was always a little weird and stupid. That's my personal opinion, but turning it into a series of news stories and very ridiculous news stories that get played in popular media a lot was clever. It added to it. And taking the fact that it's this performance watched on a stage and commenting on the way these news stories became a kind of theater for the American public to watch. Like that is an extra level of like artistic thought and criticism and parody and contribution. That is clever. I can't watch this. Can't touch this. I'd just say they're about equally good. One's bombastic about itself. The other one is great commentary on the junkiness of television shows. They're both a lot of fun to listen to. I'd say they're about equal. It's all about the Pentiums versus all about the Benjamins. Another one. This is maybe another one. It's like a tie. It's a good song to begin with. I just think it's amazing that it's all about the Pentiums is as good as it is. It is. It captures the energy of the song. It really goes fully deep into it, and brings the attitude, but to something silly, to being a computer nerd. So for me, that adds actually an extra level that I find more interesting, that I find more engaging, and I find more complex, and that I think improves the song. But other people may be just as invested in rappers thinking they're awesome, and that having money is awesome. Jurassic Park. That's a parody of MacArthur Park. If you've ever listened to MacArthur Park, it's not a super difficult song to improve on. That is a weird song. That is a profoundly like stupid song. I don't think it has a great tune to it. This isn't a huge compliment to the song Jurassic Park, but I feel like listening to MacArthur Park multiple times makes you want to, beat your head in with a tire iron, and Jurassic Park is at least more palatable version of that song. This song is just 6 words long. I can't really go into that one too much. I think it's absurdist. It's almost Dada-esque. I don't know. It self-reflective. It's funny. And you know what the truth is with so many pop songs? They're so repetitive. Sometimes it's like you wrote like 2 sentences and had a beat, and you literally milked an entire song out of like your 2 sentences. I have often thought that about pop songs. Like there is so little content to this actual song. I think Soulja Boy was someone, he's not as big now, but like all of his songs, his songs only had like 10 words in them, just repeated again and again and again. And so I really appreciate that, like I said, it's not so much just lampooning that particular song as it's lampooning a phenomenon in pop songs in general, while still being a really fun song to sing. And that's part of why it's brilliant. And that's why what elevates it above the original source material. Syndicated Incorporated, that's Misery, you know that one. Frustrated Incorporated. Now the truth is, I actually think Misery is a great song. I really enjoy it. I'm a little embarrassed of the fact that I enjoy that song. But it is so full of shameless self-promotion and edgelord, like over the topness, where it should be like embarrassed of itself. It's yeah, and so I just like that by removing that sort of distasteful element that I find sort of ridiculous, it makes it hard not to sing the song and just be like, oh, this is embarrassing. Like, oh, I feel like such a dork. Whereas I'd say, ironically, making it about TV syndication and repeated TV shows, something of no specific significance, actually. It didn't improve it so much as it took things out of it that were hard for me. Twister, I think, should get a special mention. not necessarily for being better, but for being such a great style parody of the Beastie Boys, sounding so much like it, capturing so much of the feeling of the Beastie Boys, where it's like, wow, you could throw this as just like a fun include on a Beastie Boys album, and it would just be like, oh, fun. It's someone else's take on a Beastie Boys song in an absurd Weird Al fashion. And I would say that's a way of, again, it's almost like taking a genre and saying I'll make my own silly version contribution of it. And then I know this is a style parody. I think it was Oingo Boingo. It's Danny Elfman, I believe. You make me, you make me want to hide a weasel in my shorts. You make me want to phone home. I mean, apologies to Danny Elfman, but Oingo Boingo was weird, and their songs were kind of dumb. And Weird Al just pushed that further than they did. Like, he just took what they were doing and did it even more than them. And so it's like, well, I feel like you maybe created the ultimate Oingo Boingo song. Um, and Dare to Be Stupid's a little bit like that too, where it's like, you maybe did that person's type of song better than they themselves do it. And that takes some talent. Anyway, those are my favorite songs. Do you have some favorite songs that you actually like more than the original or more than the original artist or band themselves? You can always post a comment and let me know. Bye-bye.